When justice is applied, justice will always beat injustice.
After spending 17 years behind bars, a man wrongly convicted of murder is finally free. When he was 20 years old, a jury convicted Obie Anthony of shooting a man to death in South Los Angeles.
The whole time, Anthony maintained his innocence. Now, as he approaches 40, he's a free man thanks to the help of some local law students.
Anthony's legal team proved to a judge that there was never any physical evidence connecting him to this murder and that the prosecution's main witness lied on the stand. Well, tonight, their hard work is paying off, and right about now, Anthony's at a Roscoe's having dinner, and he's very much looking forward to having a really good night's sleep in a comfy hotel room.
Don't move, don't move.
Obie Anthony, surrounded by family, friends, and his legal team, walked out of a downtown jail a free man. He's been waiting for this day for 17 years.
Happy, excited, nervous.
An L.A. County Superior Court judge threw out his 1995 murder conviction last Friday after a Loyola Law School professor and her team of students with Project for the Innocent convinced a judge Anthony was innocent.
Really all the prosecution had was the testimony of a pimp of a whorehouse who didn't even see the shooting.
Anthony and his friend Reggie Cole were convicted of gunning down a Mexican immigrant in front of a South L.A. brothel. Then, more than 15 years later, Anthony's legal team discovered the prosecution's main witness, who was the owner of the brothel, had testified in exchange for a light sentence for pimping and pandering.
That his eyewitness IDs at the trial were more based upon police suggestion than what he actually had seen.
Cole's conviction was also overturned. He was released a few months ago. We witnessed Cole and Anthony, now 36, reunite. The last time they hugged like this, they were only 19. Anthony now plans to help with the Innocence Project and give back to the men and women who gave him this new lease on life.
And I love you. We love you. To show you how much I appreciate you.
Hey, what's up, everybody? We back. Welcome to our second hour. I'm your host, Cogee. Welcome to Conversations with Cogee, baby, where we bring it real, we bring it raw, and we bring the truth. No buffoonery. We keep it real. We're very intelligent people, and that's what we show on this show. So I want to thank Mr. John Thompson, who was on in our last hour. Title of the show, everybody, I've been falsely accused, and this is part 2. Now, let me say this. I'm going to say it again. The show's been so powerful, I've been getting phone calls that's overwhelmed that we going to do a part 3. I'm already claiming it. Part 3 is next week. We got a lot of people that's like, hey, we want to get in on this. We want to be heard. We like what you're doing. Man, you the truth, this, that, and the other. Well, you know what? If they say I'm the truth and they want me to be the truth, I got to bring the truth. And I got to let the people come in and let the people speak. Let the village speak, because they can tell this story better than me. I ain't never been through it, but I feel the pain and the love. You know, I got the love for all the people that have been through it. They overcame it. They fought. They stayed strong. And they here now to tell their story. Obie Anthony, I got a lot of love for this brother. This brother is a good heart, man. When y'all hear him talk, and if y'all go to the website and look him up, Obie Anthony, let me tell you something, man. What he's trying to do for people, he's not angry, he's not disgruntled, he ain't just hating everybody. And you know, John wasn't either. All they want is what's right for the people, and to change the laws where other people don't have to suffer like them. And who can be mad at somebody for that, man, who's caring about other people after they done been crucified? And guess what? You still might smell smoke on them, but I tell you what, they still got a fresh smell of new life that's in them right now. So I want to go to Pastor T, and I want to go to Miss Peaches. Pastor T, what you think about the last hour, and how powerful is this that I got to do a part 3 now?
Man, this show is hitting. It's hitting right at the heart of people. And I'm going to tell you something. One of the things that surprised, it's not a surprise to me. To hear his story, to hear John's story was a very sad story. But it's not surprising, because we know the people that we have in office, a large percentage of them, and not all of them, have an evil heart. You know what I'm saying? Right. And they'll do what they have to do to make sure they promote themselves. And so as sad as his story was, we know that's happening all across this country, and it's time for us to get involved. It's time for us to act and find out what we can do to stop this from happening, because if we got one person in prison that's wrongly accused, we got one person too many.
You got that right. You're definitely right. Miss Peaches, speak on it.
I completely agree with Pastor T. One is one too many. And the guy, our guest now, Mr. Obie Anthony, that's coming on, what is amazing about this, Cogee, is you have him on your show, and he was just exonerated September 30th of last year.
Wow. Hey, these wounds of everybody that's on my show right now are still deep.
That's
They
right.
still deep.
And still very fresh.
Yeah.
Still very much right there at the forefront of every day.
Yeah.
And I'm just very happy that you're doing this show. I'm glad that you're doing next week's show. I think our people really need this.
Hey, the people have spoken, and I'm going to step up and do the right thing for them. They say they want a part 3. I'm going to give it to them because there's a lot of hurting people out there, and people need information to know how to fight this situation and help their families. And you know what? I say it again. Many are called, few are chosen. And if I'm chosen for this, because this came to me, you know what I'm saying? And all the people came to me. Everything was available for me to use this platform to do what I needed to do, and that's of God, not of man. You know what I'm saying? This is something that he wants to be spoke on, where people can have the awareness to protect themselves, but also how to conduct themselves and stay out of trouble, stay away from things you can get caught up in. And that's all I'm trying to show is a double-sided light on that situation. So we're going to show my man some love right now. This is the song he said makes him feel good, makes his heart feel good. This was one of my father's favorite songs right now. And Daddy, I love you in heaven. You know what I'm saying? Obie, I got love for you too, baby. This is for you. We'll be right back, and y'all get ready for a hell of a show. All right, we back. Welcome back to Conversations with Cogee. I'm your host, Cogee. Topic of the show, I've been falsely accused. Miss Peaches, give my man Obie his introduction. Break it down and let people know who he is, and I got to get him in. I can't wait to talk to the brother.
Okay, we have Mr. Obie Anthony. In October of 2011, he was released from a California sentence of life without the possibility of parole after 17 years of wrongful imprisonment. Obie had always maintained his innocence and was freed after dedicated lawyers, students, and investigators proved constitutional errors, including prosecutorial misconduct and ineffective assistance of counsel, in addition to the lies eventually admitted by the person who gave false, direct eyewitness testimony at trial. Obie was only 19 years old at the time of his conviction.
Wow, there it is. Now, this is what I want to do. To my man Obie that's coming in, I want to ask you a question. How was you able to carry on, just like the song? How you doing, my brother?
I'm doing fine, man. I'm doing fine, man. Hey, and, you know, just being honest with you, man, the only way that any of the innocent individuals that you have spoken to or will speak or will be have an opportunity to speak to, only way we're able to carry on is through our faith and through the strength that carries us in that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it is the Creator that binds us, and it is what He has said from the very beginning. He said that the innocent will be vindicated. And so it was just about a matter of when those things transpire for each and every one of us that was being wrongfully accused over the United States.
Right. But how do you deal with that long suffering? That's also in the Bible too. Long suffering. How do you deal with that?
You deal with long suffering through patience, right? Because through our sufferings, it brings forth understanding, it brings forth recognitions, and it also helps us to grow. And it manifests within inside of us an additional strength that we can tap into. See, and what I like to explain, what I like to tell people all of the time is this: is that you come from an ancestry that was nothing but strength. All of those individuals that made it here from across the waters made it here because they were strong, and they survived through those things because they were strong. And so that means then that strength lies within you to be able to endure and to suffer through those things which you know to be wrong. Because what you realize is in your faith is that you know you will be vindicated, and so then you just continue to work towards that. You know what I mean?
That's right. Well, let's do this real quick. Excuse me 1 second, Obie. I want to go to Pastor T. Pastor T, what you want to say to Obie right now? The man's out after, 17 years, holding strong, kept his faith, and he's here right now with us, serving great information, and we're going to have a great show. What do you want to say to this man? Then I'm coming to Peaches.
Obie, I thank you for coming to the show today. I love how you started off, man. You started off with a positive attitude. Me as a pastor, I'm wondering after 17 years if I would still have that positive attitude.
Yeah.
You know, that only comes from God. So I thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for your positive attitude. I can feel your energy, and I know you have a lot of information to share with our viewers today, man. God bless you, sir.
Yes, thank you.
All right, it's Miss Peaches.
Cogee, I really want to thank Obie Anthony for coming on today. His trial was definitely one of those that's just here. Let us just get somebody in here to take this rap right now. And the eyewitness that they used, he wasn't even a credible person. He was doing his own wrong dealings, what he was doing in life. So this should have never happened.
That's right. You're definitely right on that. So this is what I want to do. This is what we're going to do, Obie. We're going to take them back to 1995.
Right.
How did you get pulled in this case?
Well, initially these things kind of came to head for me by way of anonymous caller. At this point, no one knows if the anonymous caller was even true or not. But the fact of it was just there was an anonymous caller that called in that said that individuals made a bad move on a certain street, and the detective that had the case, which is a rookie detective, then said that she did her investigation by running those names through the computer database at that time, and then came up with a list of names. But at that point, she said she went on and do a couple of other different things, which ultimately led her to believe that the individual that was involved with some photos that she had received through another police department. And so, so I get pulled in through this anonymous caller saying that, and it's by a simple name alone. And so, and then at this point, they call me down to the county and charge me with these things. And I'm, again, shocked. I'm like, are you sure you got the right guy? Right? Are you sure you got the right booking number? Are you sure you got the right name?
Right.
And, and all of those things. But, and again, that's all it took was an anonymous caller, an individual to call in just to say, to make a statement to the police, credible or not, and then these police then act upon those things, whether or not if those things are credible or not, to try to come up with whatever conclusion they came to,
Right. But you know what? How did it feel looking across at this person in the courtroom, man, who's got your life in his hands and he's lying and saying you was a part of the whole situation with him?
Right.
Take us to that whole situation, man. How did you deal with that?
Well, it's difficult to deal with, right? Particularly when you're sitting in front of an individual who is lying, right? It's like again, I use this type of scenario where it's like being at home with your mother and your father, and you have a sibling, and your sibling runs in there and tell mom that you just did something that he just did, right?
Right.
And so you watching him go in there and lie to mom and dad about what just transpired, and he's lying. And so, what's rolling up off of you is like, man, how are you gonna sit there and lie like that? Right? How are you gonna lie? How can you sit there and to say these things when you know things not to be true? And so then at that point, only thing you are left to do as the one to being lied on is to try to figure a way out to try to prove that this individual here is telling a lie. And in a situation such as being incarcerated or being accused and you sitting behind a table, you got an obstacle in front of you because of just the mere fact of you have been accused of this crime,
Right. You definitely right on that. But you know what? Did you know this guy before this case even went on? Was y'all affiliated in any kind of way?
Not at all. No, not at all. Not at all. Never knew him, never met him, had no connections to him whatsoever. And again, that's what makes the act even just that much more shameful. And again, these are individuals, though. You have to take in consideration the character of the individuals that are doing these type of things. That they go out and promote lies against other individuals for the purpose of their own gain. You know what I mean? So you got to take in consideration the character of those individuals and what brings that person to do these type of things. You never know. You know what I mean?
Right.
Whether he's been persuaded by authorities or whether he has his own motives in these actions as to why he do or why she do certain things. And so it's difficult when you sit there and you know that this person is sitting here and he's, or she's sitting there and they just telling nothing but lie after lie after lie. And it's difficult because you're in no position whatsoever at that junction to disprove those things, particularly if you have, like in one case, I had an interfaith assistant counsel, failed to do any type of proper investigation, failed to do any of the things that I was telling him to do. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I'm advising because, again, in the beginning of the stages, they, because I have a right to have these things, I was supplied my murder book. So that I have an opportunity to go through those things and research and look and do whatever I thought was necessary. And as I was coming across information, I was constantly plugging my lawyer with this. Look at this. Check this out. Look at call. Do this and do that. Right. And so now, when you don't have that type of effective representation to do the proper investigation in the initial, then it's a problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you have an individual here who is lying on you, and now you have a counsel that sits next to you that, you telling them, hey, look, to go look at this right here to prove that this guy is lying, and that person is not doing it, then you have a situation. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's a systemic problem, not only inside of the public defender's office, but it also spills over into the prosecutor's office as well. Everybody is rushed. Only thing that's on everybody's mind mind at this junction, and it's about winning, and it's about clearing the caseload. You have excellent prosecutors out there, and you also have excellent defense attorneys out there. The problem is that they have been infiltrated and have been woven in with individuals who have nothing but greed and self in mind. That's it.
Right.
And so, and who lies at waste and that type of atmosphere is the innocent. And so this is why across the United States is why you have an epidemic of individuals who have been wrongfully accused, placed on death row for 37 years, 27 years, 19 years. I mean, like, you have individuals, I mean, like, more time than, I mean, like, I can't even talk on, you know what I mean?
Football scores.
Yeah, it's football scores, exactly. And so you have to take those things into consideration when you allow for that arena to do that, right? And you allow these individuals who we allow to go in there to represent us and to be these elected officials to, stand in the position of authorities. When we allow for them to run amok, or allow the individuals to run amok of a system in which was designed to do just for all, and not for a particular facet or a particular fraction, but for all. When we allow for those few, right, to contaminate the pool, then what happens is that then you can only expect the spillover effect, which is those individuals who are being accused falsely and imprisoned for years and years, and some maybe even executed. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of things you need to take in consideration it's more deeper than when you're talking about the liar that sits in front of you. It's the individual who supports the liar. It's the individual who sustains the liar, and it's the individual who gathers around the liar that makes him or makes that lie true. You know what I mean?
Right. Let me ask you this real quick, Obie. How effective is a rat? How effective is a liar? How effective is anybody that's working with them to try to get out of their dirt to hurt you? How effective is that in the court system right now, and how do they get away with it?
Well, the fact of it is that even now in the court system, it's legal for an individual to come and to trade his testimony for the purpose of for him to get some benefit. The problem is that when the prosecutor do not allow that. The problem is that when he does not disclose those things to the defense. And so what transpires is that now because you allow for an individual who has committed these other heinous crimes or committed crimes to say to him, hey, listen, we'll let you off for this over here if you'll just do these things for us over here. That individual is going to be willing to do whatever you ask him to do. You know what I mean?
Right.
He's already backed into the wall, and he's looking for a way out, and his way out is whatever they suggest, which angle he should take, and he's going to take it.
Right.
And that's exactly what the rats been. Well, as you referred to them, rats, but those individuals, that's exactly what they do, and they are very effective. I mean, hundreds of individuals sits in state prisons across the United States innocent because of just that reason right there, because they had an individual who was willing to do whatever they asked him to do. It was trumped up with whatever charges they may have been trumped up with, or whatever predicament they may have been in, and was willing to do whatever the officers or the prosecutor asked them to do.
Right. You're definitely right. Let me ask you this. People don't believe me, but I said this on the last show, and I'm going to say it all the way into part 3, because I'm doing a part 3 next week. The people then called, and, hey, they said they want a part 3, and I'm giving it to them. Tell me this, Obie, and you know what's true on what I'm going to say, and I know you're going to come strong with it. Are we being traded out every day on the golf course, at lunch, in the office? Are we being traded out every day in the court system?
Listen. The thing of it is that you are being traded out, but that trading out that's transpiring is not the system. I'm gonna tell you something, right? It is a magnificent group of individuals, lawyers, from defense lawyers and prosecutors that's coming out of Loyola, that's coming out of these colleges that are aware of what's transpiring in front of us. And so when you talk about those individuals who are trading us off in the golf courses, it's a minority, and it's only a few of them. And because of the work that's coming behind them, they will be washed out. You hear me?
Right.
And so that means that it is help coming along in the system. And I didn't say that to say those things are not transpiring. Yeah, but I'm just telling you that it's not for, in other words, where we can just look at and say, well, the system is this. But the problem is not just the system, because set aside to itself, it moves and works perfectly alone. But when you put individuals, men, because they have been contaminated with their own greed and selfishness, into those positions of authority and into those positions to where they can say whether this person lives or die, it becomes a problem, because they already have these thoughts in their mind about only them. And so whether this innocent individual is over here is innocent or not is of nothing to them. You know what I mean?
Right. But see, it goes back to what I said too, when you said that they have court cases and stuff that they need to close and they need to move on because the court system is so congested. When I said they trade them out, what I mean by that is some people need a certain case to come up to be a judge, to come up to be a stronger and bigger prosecutor. You get what I'm saying? So that's what I mean by the trade out.
Right.
You
I understand exactly what you're saying. And absolutely. And again, how do we know that these things are transpiring? Is because we realize and understand that there's a competitiveness inside the work environment in the office itself. And so it's nothing, right, because of those reasons alone that one can go to another in that same office, in that community, and say, listen, give me this win, and I'll give you this.
Bingo.
Right? And
Bingo.
so, and again, now, can we say, look, this prosecutor here did that? No, we can't say that this prosecutor did that, but we can say that this prosecutor here he took this evidence and withheld it, or he took this and planted it, or these type of things here, right? Or he used this witness over here, and they created a story to fit their scenario to convict this individual over here.
Right.
We can do that.
Right, and we're not saying that the court system is jacked up. We're saying that certain individuals that's jacked up in the court system.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying?
Yes, and the thing of it is that then that means then it becomes an issue then for their office. Clearly, the head district attorney and the head defense attorney in the office realize the problems that transpire within their office.
Right.
Now, at that point, then that is whether or not if they choose to act upon those things or use the office bureaucracy or the paperwork to kind of like let things kind of funnel through, while the individual is then still allowed to continue to make these same errors and continue to trample over individuals' rights and liberties and things of that nature, while it goes through the course of paperwork, when you know that these things are already transpiring. It shouldn't happen that way.
Right, you definitely right.
It shouldn't happen that way. I mean, like, there's no way in the world you're gonna, that you can do something today and they tell you, well, we got to wait for the paperwork to come through before we lock you up. No, you're going to jail today.
That's right. You definitely right on that. Well, check us out. We're going to take a break and we're going to come right back. My man Obie Anthony's in right now. Hey, you're listening to Conversations with Cogee. This is part 2. I've been falsely accused. You don't want to miss this man's story, because let me tell you something. We're going to get deeper when we come back, because me and him are going to talk about serving time and doing time and just enter with no time limit on the whole situation on your court case and everything, and what he done to do that time and how he got through it. So you don't want to miss this. We'll be right back. You're listening to Conversations with Cogee.
A change gonna come.
Welcome back to Conversations with Cogee. I'm your host, Cogee. Hey, this is part 2 of I've Been Falsely Accused. I got my man Obie Anthony in. Obie, I want to tell you something, man. I love the answers that you're giving right now, man. It's very positive. I already have people texting me saying, man, the brother's deep. And you know what? Somebody just texted me a minute ago that made me feel good. They said, that brother is not bitter. Everybody else, some people that we go through and we hear these stories, they are very angry and bitter. I'm going to ask you right now, how did you get around that? Because I know at one point you had to be that way because you was caught up. But how did you evolve from that?
Right. Absolutely. And again, anger is always there. I mean, like, listen, how can you not be angry at when someone takes 17 years of your life away from you, right? I mean, like that. It's crazy to fathom that it's impossible for that. I'm just not angry. No, that's not what it is. What it is that what I realized long ago is that if I continue to be angry, then what's going to transpire is that I'm not going to even be able to think straight. Right? I can't even focus on getting myself out of this situation which they placed me in because I'm angry. And so then now that I'm home, now again, how can I then allow for that same type of attitude, that reverse thinking, to prevent me from being progressive out here in the world, in the place where I'm most needed at, in the place to where responsibility I desire, where family I desire, just doing those things that everybody else been doing for over the course of the years that I was wrongfully accused and incarcerated.
Right.
And so the thing of it is that it's just about having a healthy dose of check within yourself, look within yourself, realize that you are more than just your physical self.
That's right. You definitely right on that.
And you are more than just your physical self. And in realizing that, that means to understand that there's a greater authority that you must answer to, and there's a greater authority that you must align yourself with. Whatever you choose to label and however you choose to call upon him, the fact of it is that at the end of the day, what it's all about is about a battle between wrong and right.
That's right. You definitely right. You definitely right on that.
And that's what it's all about. And so what I did to sustain myself while I was in there is just realize that. Realize that if I sit into these, because again, being angry is part of the devil.
Yeah.
Being vindictive is part of the devil.
That's right.
Being selfish is part of the devil. Being all of those things that are of any type of negative is part of the devil. And if I'm saying, right, I'll connect myself to a source that's greater than myself, that is a positive source, then that means then that my attitude and how I conduct myself must be accordingly.
That's right.
And so that's what I try to do. And yeah, absolutely, that has sat in me that, man, how can I ever get 17 years? Ain't no way. Still right today, I have problems explaining to, how can I explain to a worker, to an employer now, my work history? Right? I have to now. I'm stuck with a story. I have to tell people that I was wrongfully accused.
Right.
And I was wrongfully incarcerated. I can't tell a potential employer that I was just trying to get a better job because I was working over here at this place and I'm going to move up in life. Or I'm trying to better my career. What I mean?
Have your records been expunged?
Well, as of today, yes.
Okay.
Three charges have been expunged.
Okay.
3 things have been expunged. One of which I'm still I don't know how it's going to be worded and whether or not how they're going to word it in regards to removing it. So.
Okay, but this is what I don't understand. And then I'm gonna come to Pastor T, and I'm gonna come to Miss Peaches because I want y'all to ask Obie whatever y'all want to ask him. Which I'm sure will be some good knowledge for our listeners out there. But Obie, I want to ask you this one question: when you get falsely accused and you beat it, and your attorneys find you had nothing to do with it, no way, no how, nothing at all, why is the record not expunged on the spot as well?
Well, that's a good question. That exactly. Those things should be. But again, and it all things takes, it's always about a hurry up and wait program, right? And so what they want you to do, they want you to hurry up and put the paperwork in to try to get those things done after you have been exonerated to get these things expunged after where it should have been done in the first place.
No, but that needs to be in the package deal of the expungement. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
That needs to be in the package deal.
Yeah.
That vanishes just with your case being overthrown and being out. You know what I'm saying? You go back to a regular life. Right. There's no reason you should be pulling and dragging the tail of something when the tail should have fell off. You get what I'm trying to say?
Right. And this is a struggle.
That's a ball and chain.
Right. And this is a ball and chain that all of the exonerees have to carry around in one way or another. And again, it goes back to what I was just saying. Again, we have to go back to explain to individuals reason why we wasn't here in the workforce.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
We have to deal so that ball and chain is connected to us.
Yeah, but the thing about it is, it's almost like y'all got a tattoo, man, a forget-me-not.
Yeah, well.
You get what I'm trying to say? That y'all don't deserve. And that's what I think we need to fight for, is that needs to be in y'all's package deal. When I'm exonerated and I'm out, I'm out. I'm out. OUT, I'm out. I'm all the way out. I'm back to a regular person. You know what I'm saying? I lead a regular life. Okay, y'all made a mistake. Okay, but let me have my life, and I can deal with it more better moving on forward.
Right.
Okay, so let's go to Pastor T. Pastor T, what you want to ask my man Obie?
Hey, Mr. Anthony. Again, how you doing? I thank you for coming on. I thank you for your energy, sir. Let me ask you something. Was your faith in God, was it strong before you were incarcerated? Or tell me, I would like for you to explain to me what caused your faith to be as strong as it is. Because the first time me and myself and Cogee ever had a conversation, we shared with each other the book of Proverbs.
Right.
And what you're talking about good overcoming evil, and you're talking about staying positive and not being angry. And from talking to you, from listening to you, I know you already know that you have the victory.
Right.
But what did your faith become so strong?
Man, my faith became strong, and it's a true story, right? Now, going into getting incarcerated, I went in as a Christian or a Baptist. I used to go to Baptist church and all of that stuff with my mom and all of that, but I wasn't big on faith at the time. I was just going to church. I didn't really have no understanding of what it entailed, what the essence of it really was, because I was just a kid and I had no knowledge. And so then it came a time, man. Matter of fact, I was on my way back from court. The judge had just told me that I was looking at the death penalty on this case, and went home, and I got on the phone. I had called my grandmother, and I said, Mom, they're trying to give me the death penalty for this case I don't know nothing about, and this and that. And my dad, I talked to him, and he told me these things, and she told me to go to my chaplain. And I told her, Mom, at this time, I don't need no chaplain. I need a lawyer. Right, and so then, this is the way that the power of the Creator moves. Again, when he's trying to get your attention, he's going to grab it. So that was the first time he said something to me right then. Then when I walked off from there, I'm on my way back to my bed, and as I was going by, it was a prayer group going on, and one of the guy that was giving the prayer group, as I was walking by, said that if you were stressed and having problems, pray and ask the Creator to send you a comfort, and He will. I just looked at him and kept going, but and I'm like, man, it was like perfect timing. But again, it was the Creator talking to me. And so then that night, as I laid down, I said to myself, man, look, I don't know what to call you. I don't know what's going on. At this time, only thing I know exactly what dude said over there, that I'm going through it and I need your assistance. And it was that night. Before I went to jail, in January that year, I lost my mom. And it was that night I had a dream. She, I don't see her or nothing, but she told me then that everything was going to be all right. She told me everything was going to be all right and not to worry. And it was at that point, that next day when I got up, it was as though, it's hard to really explain, but it was like a feeling that just kind of just washed over me. It was a washing over type of situation, and it was a realization that at that point that I needed to start paying attention. And so I did, and I started reading. And it was one scripture that I came across that said the innocent will be vindicated. And then I had never, ever, at that point, never, ever thought anything differently. And it was just that has sustained me, and it was that had continued to help me build, not only in His Word, but in His Spirit, so that I can feel it, so that I can have a connection with Him and understand exactly what it is that He was communicating to me, which was it's a refining time.
That's right.
It's a refining time. It's an opportunity for you now to understand me and what I stand for and what I'm about. And after I refined you, and I send you home, then to see whether or not if you're willing to stand the test of time and stand up to what I showed you.
There it is.
So that's what I've been doing.
There it is.
And I've been trying to do that, and that's exactly why now that I'm home, I have an opportunity, man. When I come, I was blessed. I had a chance to work with the ACLU. They have a campaign out here in California called Save California to repeal the death penalty out here in the state of California. So I had a chance to go around and to talk to my community about those things, about, hey, listen, at best, what you can say is this, is that as long as the innocent is at jeopardy, we cannot stand for the death penalty.
That's
right. As long as the innocent is at jeopardy.
Right.
And I told him, I said, how do we know that? It's because I stand right here in front of you after serving 17 years in prison for a crime I didn't commit.
Okay.
And they paid attention.
They
pay attention. And so then after that, I have a beautiful opportunity now, man. I work with death penalty focus, opportunity to go around and talk to individuals about just that. It's a time for America, because now 17 states in the United States have already repealed the death penalty. It's time for California to be the 18th state to repeal the death penalty, because this movement is going across the United States. It's an innocent movement, it's a truth movement, and it's a justice movement. And everybody needs to pay attention.
There it is. Just a second. 1 second, Obie. Miss Peach, just chime in. What you want to ask Obie real quick, and we got to keep it moving. We're coming down to the end of the show, and I got a few more things to ask him that we need to get in. So go ahead, Miss Peach.
Okay, what I wanted to know was all of our exonerees went into prison as innocent men, but we all know some of the trials and tribulations that go on in prison. So how hard is it to stay walking the right path now that you're out and you've dealt with so much? How hard is it to not get caught up again that maybe you wouldn't have never done in the first place because you were innocent?
Hey, listen. Jail is a place where two things can happen. You could educate yourself, or you could become a stupor, right? You can get stuck in the stupor. And the thing of it is that the reason why you hear what you hear from the exonerees is because they have went in there and they realized and they grew in their knowledge and they grew in their strength and they grew in their spirit. And that was because, again, what we learned over the course of time is that ultimately what has been taken from us is the most that can be taken from us is our life. And so now we need to learn how to figure a way out how do we deal with these ordinary day-to-day problems that come across us and be able to deal with them effectively, and where it doesn't stagnate us and make us not progressive in our thinking and our actions.
Right. There it is. What you think, Ms. Peaches?
Thank you for that answer. I appreciate it.
Okay, There it is. So I want to ask you this, Obie. Who do you think, other than God, and we're going to give it to him too, who do you think for your freedom right now? And when you think about certain people, a smile just come over your face right now. Who would those people be?
I mean, listen, I don't know if I can. It's like a whole slew of names that is incredible. I can't even go off.
I hear you.
I'm going to tell you, but I give thanks to the Northern Innocent Project, to Loyola Marymount, to the School of Law. I give thanks to the ACLU for blessing me with the opportunity to work, to the Death Penalty Focus, because of all of the magnificent individuals who I had an opportunity to meet through the interaction with them. spend the max. So those are the individuals who I thank those individuals who stand for justice. I thank those individuals who turn to one another and say, listen, we need to go have a conversation with our local government and our local city officials about the conduct of our police departments and the conduct of our prosecutor's office, because they are incarcerating our youth falsely at a rate that is becoming outrageous.
Right.
And so that's what I give thanks to. And I give thanks to everybody who stood beside me and gave me the strength and the courage to continue on during the course of my tribulations, and gave me the hope to understand that when I come home, it's an opportunity. You know, when the judge overturned my case, he quoted something from his dad that his dad got from Winston Churchill, which was never give up.
That's right.
Never give up. And
That's
so
right.
and that's what it's boiled down to right there.
Oh yeah.
You know? And
I do this show for y'all, man. I mean that.
Right. And we appreciate it too, because again, it's an opportunity, right? And it's a blessing not only to those individuals who have been exonerated, but it's also a blessing and an opportunity also for the community at large, because it brings awareness and it brings opportunity at that point to inform yourselves, because that's what's going to be the best tool to defeat those individuals who are standing for injustice. Is so we have to be informed, and we have to be knowledgeable, and we have to be ready to move on that information and that knowledge that we have in regards to the truth and justice.
That's right. You're definitely right. So let me ask you something, man. You're going to laugh when I say it. How was at Roscoe's?
Yeah. I was Roscoe's.
How was at Roscoe's when you got out? Tell the listeners what Roscoe's is so they'll know. You know what I'm saying? Let them know. How was at Roscoe's, man?
And look, Roscoe's it's off the record. Look, it is off the record. I'm gonna tell you. Look, nobody can ever tell you that Roscoe ain't. Look, everybody always tell you get the number 9.
Yeah. Hey, let everybody know what Roscoe's is so they'll be in on the joke. They'll know what's up.
That's the Roscoe Chicken and Waffles, man.
Yeah. It's a restaurant in L.A. It's called Roscoe's. And, man, when they said you went to Roscoe's, I said, boy, he wants to get out and eat some real food, for some real soul food. Miss Peaches, how's that Roscoe's?
Oh, you know we got to hit the Roscoe's every time, anywhere in the vicinity, so I can truly understand why you would go and get some of that good old mac and cheese and the rest of the menu.
You know that's right. Pastor T, how's some Roscoe's sound right about now?
Man, Rod, y'all about to make me drive up here to Atlanta to get me some Roscoe. Man, don't bring that up, man. Y'all did me wrong, man. I'm too far from Roscoe to be talking about that.
You know that's right, man. But you know what, Obie, man? I'm telling you, you definitely are a role model, man. And like I said, man, people might can smell the smoke on your baby, but you a breath of new, fresh air, man, when you speak.
Yeah, absolutely, man, and that's exactly what's. And the only reason why I'm able to speak fresh air is because that's what's crossing the United States right now. And that fresh air, I'm gonna tell you flat out, it is justice. And the reason why I know that is because I have had the opportunity to meet over 150 individuals that justice has talked to, and told them to walk this way and come out of that gate.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
You definitely right on that. And you know what? Let's go back to this real quick. The justice system, we're not saying the whole justice system is bad. We're not even saying that all the police are bad.
Right.
We're just saying on every tree, it is proven there's bad apples.
Right.
That's all we saying. You know what I'm saying? But if you prune anything and get the bad stuff off, you have a good situation. Right or wrong? You want to speak on it?
Right. That's what it is. And that's what that's exactly what a good tiller do.
Yeah.
He goes out there and he guards and he tills the ground. And he gets all of the weeds up and he gets all of the filth up so the good can grow.
That's right.
And so we must be good tillers of the system and clip off all of those bad fruits off of the tree so that the good fruit can continue to do the things that we asked them to do, which is serve for justice, protect the innocent.
Yeah, you definitely right on that. But you know what? Let me say another thing. What you want to say to our youths out here, man? They sagging, you know, they come on, man. They don't even understand. Every time the police pull him over and just to run their name, how they could be in that pool of names of the falsely accused. Am I right or wrong? Speak on that, sir.
Man, yeah, absolutely. You know, listen, it's bad enough, right, for those individuals who do not kind of like, you know, decide to have this type of attire, which is, you know, is an attention grabber all in itself. Because, you know, that it's easy for you. And if it's easy for you, then imagine how much easier it is for those individuals who just, you know, they out there and they thinking that this is what the lifestyle is all about. But I'm going to tell you what need to transpire in regards to what my thinking is anyway, in regards to the youth, in regards to what's going on across the state for the whole representation of how we represent ourselves. thing of it is that it just take a time out, opportunity for you to inform yourself. And I guarantee you, once you get some knowledge up under your belt, once you get some information up under your belt, you're going to see differently, you're going to perceive differently, and there's going to be a whole lot of things that you're going to be like, man, I cannot understand how I was able to even partake in those things. But you got to take a good hard look at yourself and say, look, that you deserve better. And that's what it's really all about, is realizing that you deserve better than what everybody else is giving to you and what everybody else is saying that you should have and what everybody else is putting in front of you. You look at that and you say, I deserve better. And the only reason why you know you deserve better is because you already have an opportunity to experience the bad. So then go forward. Go after that what you see in front of you, which is the truth, which is yours. And so that's why I tell the youth, is to stand for yourself and don't allow for individuals around you to filter or to pollute your progression, because that's all they're trying to do.
There it is. Hey, great answer. And I mean that. Now, I want to ask you one more thing, quick as possible. My man coming on in the next hour, Maurice, and the brother's deep like you, really deep. Now, I just want to say this. He said, I want to tell the youngsters that when you come down to the penitentiary, you don't have that AK-47, you don't have that 45, you coming down there with bare fists, but you don't even know what you going to encounter once you hit the penitentiary. Can you let these youngsters know real quick as possible they don't even understand?
Well, quickly as possible, I'm going to tell you this. This is what I tell the youngsters as simply as this. Listen, the story that was told to you concerning the penitentiary is a farce. Bottom line. And the fact of it is that it is all those things that what they said it was cool and what was going on is absolute lie. It is a straight danger zone. It's a war. It's the wrong. It's hell in the box.
Right.
Hell in the box. And so then you consider all of those things that you're suffering now through right then and there in your community is shrunken into a little box, and it's just that much more dangerous. So that's definitely not a place, in other words, that anyone should try to even think about even moving towards. Just realize it's a danger box that sits on the corner and turn the opposite way.
Okay, there it is. Now let's do this. Let's tell everybody who Reggie Cole is real quick. And we'll show him some love real quick.
Yeah, Reggie Cole, man, that's my co-defendant. Man, he's the one, and he's the one that made it possible for me to be able to kind of like just remember what we told ourselves when we first left the county jail, that we will be coming home. That's my bro. I love him to death. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was also falsely accused, and he was exonerated about a year right before me, and he's going through the same trials and tribulations in which all the rest of the exonerees to go through. Man, we're trying to find a job, we're trying to get medical and dental, and we're trying to get back into what everybody else is doing, which is making a living and surviving.
I hear you, but you know what? Let our listeners know, because some people don't know court terms. What he was your co-defendant. Let them know what a co-defendant is.
My co-defendant is basically just the individual who was arrested and charged with the same crime in which I was charged with. And they are referred to as a co-defendant.
Okay, there it is. Right. So, man, let me tell you, man, you've been a great. No. You know what? If you can stay on the phone and cross over, I want you to come over. I'm gonna tell you why. I want you to come over because I got somebody special that's gonna be coming in the next hour, and she helped both of y'all get out. You know what I'm saying? And my man Maurice is coming in also.
Yes.
So, is it cool for you to hold on?
Yes, I'll hold on.
Okay, there it is. So let me say this, everybody. We're going into the third hour right now. You see how powerful it gets on Conversations with Cogee. We got my man on here, Obie Anthony, in prison 17 years. He's out, y'all. Exonerated, out, free man. Like I said, you might can smell smoke on him, but when the man speak, you ain't going to get nothing but a breath of fresh, new life and air coming out his mouth. And I want to thank you, man, for being on the show today. I mean that, Obie.
Yes, I appreciate you.
Okay, there it is. So hold on, Obie. I don't want you to hang up. Everybody get ready for a powerful third hour because we really going to leave it smoking on this third hour, all right? So I want to thank all my guests that's been on the show today. And Miss Peaches, Pastor T, y'all doing a great job. Y'all hang in there, and we're going to be crossing over. I know I got people on the phone lines, but if you just can hold on for a minute, I'll get right to you coming in so we can move on. I ain't trying to hold you up, but these fellas, they got to get these stories out real quick. I only got so much time with them before they got to go, and I really need all that time because this show is for them. This is for them to speak out. This is for the families. This is for the people that's in jail right now that are hear this when these people pass it to the ones in prison, and we gonna shine new hope and new life that we are coming for them, and we doing what we can do out here to help them get out. So you're listening to Conversations with Cogee. We'll be right back. The third hour's coming up, and we gonna keep it smoking, baby.